folks, welcome back. I'm David and we're here in my shop where I build Ewor guitars. So here we are. This is episode 10 of the Great Guitar Giveaway. This is a series where I'm building this guitar right here. And if you don't know what the Great Guitar Giveaway is, this is a brand new design for me, and I do not have a name for this guitar because I'm terrible at naming stuff. So I got the brilliant idea, why don't I ask you folks out there, guitar lovers, to help me with a name. So the two rules that are in this contest is one, you've got to be a subscriber, and two, you have to submit a name to me in the comment section of the name you think I should name this guitar. And when I see that coming through in the comments, and I check every day, I write down your name and the name of the guitar right next to it, and I'm going to put all those into a hat. When I'm done building this guitar, and as you can see, it's getting close, we're going to be putting finish on it soon. When I get to the end, I'm going to pull a name out of the hat, and I'm going to ship that person this guitar free of charge. Isn't that cool? I think that's a great idea. And I'm going to get a great name. I got a lot of great names, so I could use them for other guitars too. So we'll see. But anyway, that's what we're doing. It's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the heck out of doing this and interacting with the folks out there in YouTube land, and it's been a lot of fun. And those of you that have been following along, you know I'm building two of these at the same time. So somebody commented last week or the other day that they're the evil twins. I think that's kind of cool. I guess they do kind of look evil, don't they? Anyway, so in this video, we just finished 4 episodes on the neck. And the necks are now done as far as videos go. In this one, we're getting back to working on the body. So in this one, we're going to be carving the top. We're going to be routing the binding channel and getting it all ready for binding. So anyway, that's the next step in this series. And I hope you dig it. If you do, give me a like and subscribe. Appreciate it. Let's get going with the video. Okay, so the necks are all carved. And they've been sanded to 80 grit. And now the next thing I have to do is I have to get these bodies going again. I haven't touched them in a couple of weeks. I've been working on the necks. And so now's coming the time to the thing that I've been really puzzling with the whole time, and that's the carve of the top of this guitar. Now, I've got something in my head, and let me try to explain it here. So here's the original template, pickups and everything, and the F-holes. What I want to do is I want to bevel these to the insets here, all right, in between the upper and lower bouts. I want to bevel that basically to this line here. And then the body of the guitar, the bottom bout and the upper bout, I want to basically just round like so to get down to the binding. I'm not going to do a bell carve. I just want to round it from just below the bridge and down, and sort of round the edges all the way down. I think it'll look cool, and I want a distinctive line here in between the carve, like the knee carve, and the top of the guitar. I hope I'm explaining that well. But the thing I'm wondering about is, and this is, I think I'm going with this line here. You can see I've got a second line drawn here. This line curves around and comes down and comes to this point right here. But that doesn't look as good. It makes sense because it goes from the point here, you know. I think I'm going to go with this one here. I'm just going to have to feather this together right in here because we have to have the binding, the top of the binding, to be at the same level all the way around the guitar. And so that's kind of what I've been wrestling with this whole time. And that's what I think I'm going to do. But before we get to that, it's time to, while I still have a large flat surface of the guitar, I have to go ahead and route my bindings, which will be, the top of the binding is going to be way down here. Okay, just above that. I'm going to leave about a 1/16 of the top on. So my binding is going to cut down here. But I want to do that before I carve it so I have a nice flat surface for my router to ride on. Okay, I need to cut for the 3 single coil pickups, and I'm also going to go ahead and drill for my controls. I've got my 2 holes here for the 5-way blade switch, then I have my volume and 2 tone controls. And I'm also probably going to dish these out a little bit since it's a carved top. I'll probably dish those out a little bit. I think it looks cool, and gives me a nice flat mating surface for the nut on the potentiometers. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to start on next. Got my double-sided sticky tape. We're going to glue this top on. We're going to lock this top down on top here. We're going to drill it out, router it, drill some of these holes, and route the bindings. And then we'll be on to carving. So let's get going with that. Alright, so I'm getting ready to cut my slot for the blade switch right here. I've got it laid out. There's my straight line that passes through the center of the screw holes. That's the center between the two screw holes. I got my lines marked out here. That's a little over 1 1/8 inches, which is a good length of slot for the thing. And then I've got my offset line, which is about 4.25 centimeters from this line, which is the width of the base on my Dremel. Okay, so I'm getting ready to cut my binding, and you can see I did a little test slot right here. I set my router. Now this is the binding I'm going to use. This is a 1/4 inch piece of curly maple, flame maple, and I'm going to set it in like so. Now what I've done, I want to route this before I carve the top. Okay, so what I do is I route this. So the binding, after the top is carved, the binding will be set at this height, which basically leaves about 1/16 of an inch of the maple top intact. And that's where I'm going to start my carve and go from there. So right here on the edge, so that's what I've done. And you can see the router bit I use cuts wider than, 1/4 inch. This is a 1/4 inch maple. So anyway, so I set that like so I know the bottom of the depth of the cut. And like I said, if you could see that in there, the binding is going to just lap onto the maple top by about 1/16 of an inch. And that should be just right for how I'm planning on carving this. So anyway, I got my small router set up here with the bit in it. And I'm just going to go ahead and run both these bodies. Okay, so in order for me to cut this bevel on this edge here, on both these two edges, the two inset portions of the guitar, I'm going to make a series of templates that will I could stick down to the top of the guitar, use my router to follow these lines, and I think I'm going to make 4 or 5 all together, and each one's going to rise up at a different step to make this curve here, so I have a good consistent curve. In order to do that, I've drawn these lines here originally when I designed the guitar, And I'm going to use a piece of this paper. I'm hopefully going to be able to trace those through, cut them out, and use that for my first template. Then I can make the other templates off of that first one to get my steps coming down along this edge. So I'm just going to trace this guy out. I've got my center line marked. All right, so here's all my my templates I did 5, and they're sitting on top of the body. And I think this will work. I don't know, like I said, I hadn't built this guitar before, but I think this should work. But I'm gonna set up my router. I'm gonna put one on at a time, and I'm gonna route it. And each one I'm gonna do about a 1/16 of an inch raise with each one of these templates. So that should give me a taper up the full 3/8 thickness of the body, or 3/8 thickness of the top rather. So anyway, so I'm gonna get my router set up and we'll see how it goes. Well, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the great comments and all the nice things you folks are saying. I'm loving what I'm doing, and I hope you all like watching it too. So I hope maybe you learned something. So maybe somebody will learn something out of this. Anyway, appreciate it. Click like and subscribe if you dig it, and we'll see you all on the next one.